All right. Preventing fraud. This is less about what's being done to protect you and more about what can we do to prevent fraud. What are some of the behaviors we can exhibit to try to avoid fraud? Number one, I highly suggest you review your credit card and bank statements monthly. On a regular basis, be looking at your bank statement and your credit card statement to make sure that you know what's on the card. What was the activity? Do you know of all these items here? It's really one of the reasons why I absolutely love the fact that anytime my credit card gets used, I get an alert on my phone and quite honestly on my Apple Watch too. So there could be seconds between a credit card, a fraudulent charge being made on my credit card and me reporting it, which is fantastic. Take a look at your credit report. Be aware of your credit report. Check it every year at least to make sure that you recognize all the lines of credit on your report. What if someone were to have stolen your social security number and your address and your birthday, and now they've opened up a credit card in your name that you are not getting bills for, right? Someone opened up an American Express card in Anthony Penavai's name, and they're using it, but it's tied to me. It's tied to my name and my credit score and my social security number. But I know nothing about it. Well, you would see that show up on your credit report, and most likely that would also show no payment, no payment, no payment, no payment, months at a time, right? So check your credit report. Protect your credit cards. There's usually a strip on the back of the card that asks you to sign the card. There are two things you can do. You can actually sign the card. First, that validates the credit card, but in reality, what a person should be doing at a cashier when you try to use your credit card, in theory, they should want to see the signature on the back of the card to make sure that who the signature says it is who's actually using the card. Sometimes what they actually will suggest is on the back of your card, don't write your actual name, write ask for ID. And then you'll have to present photo ID when you try to use your credit card. Some stores have a policy of asking for photo ID when they're taking credit cards. That's fantastic. If you encounter a store that actually doing that, I love that. Securing your cards, just making sure you know where they are, right? Paying attention to your wallet and just being aware of your credit cards. Securing your personal information at home, really important. If you have financial documents, medical documents around the house, passports, social security cards, these are not things to leave on the coffee table in the living room. These are not things to leave really in a desk drawer. If you can get one of those like personal safes, it's not a huge thing. It's usually the size of a toaster or something, and you can like bolt it to a closet floor or something like that. And I would use that to hold on to really sensitive personal documents, or even something as silly as a locked filing cabinet. Um, could that be a better way rather than just having bank statements sitting on your coffee table? I mean, New Yorkers are very good at this, guarding your purse and your wallet, being aware. I don't know about you. I'm just very aware of my wallet. I know exactly where it is. It goes in the same pocket every day, no matter what pair of pants I'm wearing. And then even when I'm outside, I do find myself often doing the padding to check to make sure that I know where my wallet is. But New Yorkers are pretty good at that. Safeguarding your mail. Just paying attention to that. Some mailboxes now, you can buy a mailbox that has a mail slot where you can put mail in, but in order to take the mail out, you have to have a key to unlock the box. Some of you might even have the mail slots in your door, right? So if the mail gets pushed into your house, it gets pushed in and then usually falls uh, far enough to the ground where I could not stick my hand now in the mail slot to be able to get the mail back out. So just paying attention to your mail. If you live in an apartment building, this may be taking care of you for now because you usually have a mailbox in the lobby or something that you have to have a key in order to open. This is a big one. Shredding documents containing personal information. I highly, highly recommend you go and get a paper shredder. You don't have to get a paper shredder that can shred a phone book or shred a textbook in one shot. You can buy a $50 paper shredder at Staples, and that can easily take care of things like that. So anytime you're about to throw things away that have your personal information on it, you should shred it. And I'm not even talking just about bank statements. I'm talking about anything that has your name and address on it. My mom is kind of paranoid about this, so she's gotten me in the habit of, like, you have magazines that come to the house. Yep, you're gonna throw the magazine out. You tear the address portion off the front cover. You could put the rest of the magazine in the recycler, but then shred your address. Something as dopey as you have a box from Amazon. You can peel the shipping label right off the box that has all your personal information on it, and then recycle the box, but shred the shipping label. This is a big one. Do not give out your personal information unless you have initiated the contact. No one from your bank, from your credit card company, is ever going to call you asking for information that they should already have. No one from Bank of America is going to call you asking for your PIN code or your account number. They know that information already. It's one thing if you call the Bank of America customer support line and they ask you for your social security number, your last name, your date of birth. You know you've called the bank. No one from your bank is ever going to call you asking for information they should already have, right? If they do, it's a scamming call. Hang up the phone. Okay. Protect your social security number. At this point in the world, there really is no need to carry your social security card around with you in your wallet. You're not going to need it that often. Take it at home, leave it in the safe, and only give your social security number out when necessary. And in the last 15 or 20 years, we've gotten a lot better at this. I distinctly remember at college when I was going to an office, anytime you wanted to do anything in the office, before they would say hello to you, they would ask for your social security number. Now, there's lots of different ways to do that. They can't even ask you for your social security number. They have to, you have to volunteer to write it down. They can't ask you to say it out loud in the middle of the registrar's office. So protecting your social security number, because that can be kind of the identifying keys to the kingdom for you. Be aware of your credit card security features. Be aware of them. Learn them. And then customize them. If I go into the app in Capital One, there's a lot of different things I can customize. I can get alerts for all sorts of things, not just purchases, but whenever a charge is above a certain dollar amount, whenever I'm approaching my credit limit, whenever a payment is scheduled to be made or anything like that. Know your security features and take the time to customize them and know them and meet your particular habits. Okay. Last two. Protecting PIN codes and passwords. This is a big one. And these are things we can totally take care of. Number one, we got to be more advanced with our passwords and PIN codes, folks. We have to. If your password is password or password 1234, or the PIN code for your ATM is 12345, you got to change it. You got to come up with something more complex than that. Try not to write down your PINs and passwords. If you use your phone for a password manager, that's one thing, because at least that's locked up. I can't tell you the number of people who I've gone to their desk and within 45 seconds, I find a little Post-it note that is very, very hidden underneath the keyboard, because no one will ever look there, that has all their passwords and PIN codes. Not a good idea. Not sharing your PIN codes for things, even with the boyfriend or the girlfriend who you are madly in love with, right? They don't need to know your PIN codes until you're married, right? Be aware of your surroundings at ATMs and cash registers. New Yorkers are very good at this, I have to admit. Anytime I've ever been in a place that has a public ATM, New Yorkers give people their space. People will stand on the other side of the lobby where the ATM is to let people their space. But covering keypads while you're putting in your PIN code there, just being aware of who's around you. And then being careful with your computer. Virus protection software is really important to make sure that not only do you have it, but then you've updated the virus definitions regularly, so that they can try to take out maybe some of the software that may be keystroke logging or something like that. Being careful with online purchases. Know where you're putting your personal information. Know where you're putting your credit card information. Look for those secure browsers. right? Be very wary of public Wi-Fi networks. It's one thing to be sitting at a Starbucks to look at Instagram or Twitter. It's another thing to like do your banking on a public Wi-Fi network, especially ones that are not secure, don't require a password. You got to be careful of that. So just be aware. Cleaning out hard drives before you throw away old computers and cell phones. Let's say you're going to get rid of your cell phone. Do not just recycle it. There's a ways to be able to wipe clean the device, to format the device. If I'm going to throw out a computer, quite honestly, what I will often do is take the hard drive out of the computer and physically break the hard drive, damage the hard drive so much that it's unusable. Open the damn thing up, break it into a million pieces, right? And avoid storing a lot of unencrypted financial information on your computer. With hacking these days and just the way that we have data all over the place, you just got to be aware and be sensitive to these things. Okay. What if I'm a victim of identity theft? What happens? Number one, you want to get in touch with the major credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can report that. You can also dispute things on your credit report. If there is a credit card that was opened in your name that you have no knowledge of, you can actually go into your credit report and you can dispute it and say, "Yep, I don't know anything about this," and that not only will like put a hold on your credit report, but also will they'll start to investigate that. You may have to file a police report. In some cases, especially for like insurance, they're going to want to see that the police have been contacted. The NYPD has an entire cyber crimes unit now for the last 20 years that specifically deals in identity theft. So you probably are going to have to go to the precinct and file a police report just to document it. You absolutely are going to want to contact the credit card company or the bank or whatever company where the account's been hacked or compromised. Call them. Most credit card companies, if you believe you've been hacked, will immediately freeze your card. They will basically suspend the credit card number. They'll issue you a new card, replace your account number, and generally you're not liable for any fraudulent charges, but you have to report them. Protect your bank accounts. If you think that your wallet has been stolen, you got to call your bank, you got to call the credit card companies, whatever. And you can also file a report with the Federal Trade Commission. Go there, I think it's ftc.gov, and you can file a report there, and they kind of keep track of some of these things. With that being said, credit identity theft is a real issue. Identity theft is a thing that we should be paying attention to and that we should be aware of. Am I going to stand here and tell you that it's okay? No, you don't have to use one of these things because of the risks of identity theft. I don't think so. There's enough technology and enough security out there that you can securely bank online, electronically, and be totally okay. Use a credit card. But you want to be responsible. Be aware. Awareness is the biggest issue. Be aware of where your credit card is. Be aware of the activity on your credit card. And if there's an issue, you have to report it as soon as possible. Right, so I'm not going to say that any of these security issues are going to stop me from using my credit card or my debit card, but they're things you want to pay attention to. And that's why I think it's important also to recognize the technology that's being put in place to help you. But in reality, I think the most important thing comes down to the behaviors that we can exhibit. If we practice these behaviors, using your credit card, using your debit card, should not have an issue. If you start to be careless with this, that's where things can really start to get a little nasty. So please use your credit card, do it, but just be aware and be careful and be cautious and just be on top of your accounts.